Today is Friday, 24th September 2021. Good afternoon and welcome to the news coming to you from Living Radio, the voice of truth. On the news this afternoon, the federal government says it is the responsibility of the Federal Inland Revenue Service to collect VAT. Yoruba Nation, Biafra Agitators, 2 others protest as Buhari addresses UN Assembly today. Police arrest 3 suspects over abduction of 121 Kaduna school children. Abia Police students protest alleged rape of 3 students by Policemen. And on the foreign scene, Africa CDC says UK travel cups is halting vaccine drive. To bring you details of this and other stories, I am Princess Josiah. Now the news in full. Abia State Polytechnic Abia went haywire as they blocked the Abia road access leading to the school while protesting what they called failure of the school management to accredit the entire engineering department and alleged rape of their 3 female students. The school, numbering thousands who were due to commence their semester examinations on Thursday, halted the Ekula movement for hours. They also protested the alleged rape of 3 students by men of the Rapid Response Agency, just as the mentioned non-payment of salaries of their lecturers among contentious issues. The students bear placards with inscriptions such as "Say no to rape," "Sell this school and give us our money back," amongst others. A student of civil engineering who spoke to newsmen informed that their protest was necessitated by the failure of the school management to accredit the entire engineering department. On alleged rape by personnel of Rapid Response Agency, a female student of accounting who does not want her name in print informed that 3 students living at an undisclosed lodge around Abia North were badly raped and taken to hospital, revealing that this has been happening unchecked. Meanwhile, addressing the students in the company of armed military personnel, the rector of the Polytechnic, Professor Kalu Osoma, said he received messages that men of the Rapid Response Agency was assaulting the students. He promised that as a father and rector of the institution, he will ensure that no student is sexually harassed, no matter the individual involved, just as he assured that the school management will also look into issues raised, including the accreditation of the engineering department, amongst others. He directed the students to vacate the institution for 1 week to avoid any breakdown of law and others. 3 Nigerian groups are set for protest today at the United Nations headquarters in New York as the President Major General Muhammadu Buhari retired addresses the UN General Assembly. While 2 of the groups are protesting against the regime of the President Major General Muhammadu Buhari retired, the 3rd group will demonstrate in support of the ex-military leader. One of the groups comprising Yoruba Nation and Biafra Agitators, Nigerian Indigenous Nationalities Alliance for Self-Determination, is headed by Professor Banji Akintoye. Living Radio News Studio gathered that the last group will be holding a pro-Buhari protest tagged One Nigeria March. Away from that to the federal government, the federal government says the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, will continue to collect value-added tax VAT following the ruling of the Court of Appeal on the matter. The Attorney General of the Federation, AGF, and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, said this in an interview with newsmen in New York on Thursday. Malami, who was reacting to a question on the ruling of the Court of Appeal that the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, and the River State government maintain status quo over a disagreement on collection of VAT, said the ruling favored FIRS.
That status quo associated with the collection of value-added tax should be maintained. And the status quo, as far as the core judicial system is concerned, is a status quo that, as at the time the parties approached the court, it was the Federal Inland Revenue Service that was indeed collecting the value-added tax. So with that in mind, the federal government has succeeded in obtaining an order that establishes the sustenance of the status quo, which status quo is that the Federal Revenue Service should continue the collection pending the determination of the court, pending the determination of the cases that are instituted by states, particularly the Rivers State Government and the Lagos State Government. The cases are being determined by the court.
Rivers State Government had urged the Supreme Court to set aside the Court of Appeal's September 10 ruling ordering it an FIRS to maintain status quo on the issue of VAT collection. The state also urged the Apex Court to disband the panel of the Appellate Court, which gave the interim order and ordered another one to be constituted to hear the case.
But one thing of interest is the fact that the federal government had indeed taken cognizance of the fact that where there exists a dispute between state and the federal government, it is the Supreme Court that should naturally have the jurisdiction to determine the dispute between a state and the federation. And we are taking steps to consider the possibility of instituting an action before the Supreme Court for the purpose of having this matter determined once and for all.
And over to the story, the police has arrested 3 persons for their alleged involvement in the abduction of the 121 students of the Bethel Baptist Secondary School in Kaduna State. Those apprehended by the security operatives are Adamu Bello, Ishaku Lawal, and Moazu Abubakar. The first public relations officer, Frank Mba, paraded the trio on Thursday at the office of the Special Tactical Squad, STS, in Abuja, the nation's capital. Clad in military uniform, Adamu, Lawal, and Abubakar were among the 50 suspects paraded for kidnapping, drug use and distribution, and arms dealing, amongst other offenses. Mba, in his remarks, explained that the suspects paraded were part of the successes recorded from the STS of the Nigeria Police. According to him, investigations are ongoing to bring more collaborators of the crimes mentioned at the parade to justice. In their confession, they narrated the role they played in the kidnap of dozens of students from their school in Chinkon local government area of the state. Moving ahead, the federal government says it has successfully enlisted the theatrical performance on UNESCO representative list of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity. The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, made this known at the end of the meeting of the Federal Executive Council, FEC, chaired by Vice President Yemi Osibanjo in the Presidential Villa, Abuja.
I'm proud to say that today, this theatrical performance has been inscribed on the intangible list of UNESCO. And this brings to 5 the number of such intangible cultural heritages we have. The other 4 are the Ifa divination system, which was listed in 2008, the oral heritage of Gelede, which was also listed in 2008. We have the Ijele masquerade, listed in 2009, and we have the Arugungu Fishing and Cultural Festival, which was listed in 2016.
According to him, the advantage of listing the cultural realities is that it draws and attracts tourism traffic to the country, as well as attracts funding for the conservation and preservation of the intangible heritages. He explained that the journey to enlist the theatrical performance started in 2006. He also revealed that the Council ratified the UN Tourism Organization Framework Convention on Tourism Ethics 2020. And to some more political issues, the Zoning Committee of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has said it has no mandate to zone political offices, such as President or Vice President of Nigeria. Governor of Enugu State, Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, said it's also the chairman, who is also the chairman of the committee, said this in his address at the maiden edition of their meeting at the Government House, Enugu, on Thursday. The committee was set up by the party's leadership for the zoning of national offices of the PDP ahead of its national convention set to hold on October 30 and 31st. Governor Ugwuanyi maintained that the PDP remains the most credible platform to deliver good and accountable governance to Nigeria. He therefore encouraged members of the committee to be frank, open, and constructive in their proposals and debates, and exhibit constituency with the enormity of their mandate. The Executive Director of Africa Polling Institute, API, Professor Bell Ihua, an independent research institute, says nation building remains the responsibility of all citizens and not that of leaders alone. Ihua said this while briefing journalists in Abuja.
Work is trying to look at this concept of citizenship, looking at the office of the citizen and what responsible citizenship means. Politicians have a role in this. For example, there are politicians who, during election, they try to use religion or ethnicity to fan the embers of violence and fan the embers of division and all of that. And over time, we've allowed that to perpetuate since 1999's return to democracy.
He emphasized that for national growth and development to be achieved, there was need for a new national movement to provide a reason why citizens must be nationalistic in their everyday lives. Ihua also urged the media to promote credibility and accurate reportage that promote hope and unity of the country. You're still listening to Living Radio, the voice of truth. Still to come on the news, we have business, foreign spots, and weather update. Do stay tuned. Welcome back. Up next is business news. In business, the Federation Accounts Allocation Committee, FAAC, has shared 696.965 billion as Federation allocation for August. This is contained in a statement issued on Thursday by Mr. Oshunjo Olajide, Deputy Director, Information, Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning. The statement noted that the meeting of the committee was held virtually on Wednesday. The committee, in a communique, said from the 696.965 billion naira shared, the federal government received 289.257 billion naira, the states got 217.183 billion naira, and the local government received 161.541 billion naira. It said that the total amount shared was inclusive of value-added tax, exchange gain, excess bank charges, and revenue from non-oil. Meanwhile, the oil-producing states received 41.376 billion naira. As derivatives, the 13% of mineral revenue. The communique indicated that the gross revenue available from the VAT for August was 166.228 billion naira. The committee said this brought the total distributable revenue to 696.965 billion naira. And on the foreign scene, the African Union's health watchdog Thursday warned that Britain's pandemic travel restrictions could make people across the continent more reluctant to get vaccinated. Under the restrictions, Britain only recognizes vaccines administered in a few countries. For most of the world and all of Africa, Britain won't recognize locally administered vaccines even if the jab came from Britain. Under the rules that take effect on October 4, travelers arriving into the UK from so-called red-listed countries are required to quarantine in the government-approved hotels, even if they are vaccinated. Travelers from countries not on the red list still face tougher restrictions, including additional testing at home isolation. Britain has been an active donor of coronavirus vaccines to Africa, sending more than 5 million shots of jab to Africa, according to UN data. And over to sports. In the world of sports, former international Finidi George has said he's not afraid to make a meaningful impact with the Yoruba Football Club of Abia, as he has received enough support to succeed. Speaking for the first time after his unveiling by the two-time CAF Champions League champion, Finidi said he was ready to justify the confidence responded and posting him by Eimba's management through his stint with the club. After making a name for himself at Ajax in the Netherlands, being a leading figure in a team that won 8 major titles, including the 1995 Champions League, he played several years in Spain with Real Betis, also having a brief spell in England before retiring. Finidi was an important member of the Nigerian team during the 1990s, appearing in 2 World Cups, the 1994 and 1998 editions. Finidi played throughout his footballing career for Nigeria with his iconic number 7 jersey. He also reaffirmed the commitment of the players to work with him in their quest to transform the fortunes of the club. And here's the weather report for the rest of the day, Friday, September 24th, 2021. Abia Commercial Hub Center of Abia State will witness thunderstorms at a temperature of 23 degrees Celsius. While Umuahia, the Abia State capital, will be cloudy at a temperature expected to be around 23 degrees Celsius. Lagos, the center of excellence, will witness a rainy and cloudy condition at night at a temperature put at 24 degrees Celsius. The capital of the country, Abuja, will witness a rainy night at a temperature of 20 degrees Celsius. The city of Port Harcourt will witness thunderstorms and cloudy condition at a temperature put at 22 degrees Celsius. And we know that the Kenyan city of Calabar will be partly cloudy at a temperature expected to be around 23 degrees Celsius. And that's our package for you this lovely afternoon. But before we go, let's take a recap of the stories that made main news. You heard in the news that 3 Nigerian groups are set for protest today at the United Nations headquarters in New York as the President Major General Muhammadu Buhari, retired, addresses the UN General Assembly. We equally told you that Abia State Polytechnic Abia went haywire as they blocked the Abia-Owerri road access leading to the school while protesting what they called failure of the school management to accredit the entire engineering department and alleged rape of their 3 female students. You also heard from the foreign scene that the African Union's Health Watchdog Thursday warned that Britain's pandemic travel restrictions could make people across the continent more reluctant to get vaccinated. And that was the news as edited by Chinex and Dubisi. For more information, please call us on 090-9613-1768. 090-9613-1768. Or you can join us on our live streaming on www.livingradio.com.ng, and also feel free to download our app from there. Join our Facebook page on Living Radio Abba and be a part of our programs and daily conversations. Still remember, we're on Radio Garden. Find us, Living Radio. I am Princess Josiah. Thanks for your time and have a beautiful weekend.
Living Radio, the voice of truth.
The most consistent international DJ.